Allison Pearson is a columnist for the Daily Telegraph, one of Britain's largest conservative newspapers. On the 16th of November 2023, as anti-Israel protests erupted across Britain, Pearson happened upon a post on X, which appeared to her to show police officers posing at a demonstration with Hamas supporters. Invited to pose for a photo with lovely, peaceful British friends of Israel on Saturday, police refused. "Look at this lot, smiling with the Jew haters," she tweeted. In truth, the activists who the police were standing next to were supporters of a Pakistani political party, not Hamas. Pearson soon realised her mistake, deleted the tweet, and thought nothing more of it. 1 year later, she received a knock at the door. It was the police. She was being investigated for inciting racial hatred following a complaint from a member of the public. The investigation fell apart in the glare of the media spotlight.
Police officers in Essex have dropped the probe into the journalist Allison Pearson.
But as Pearson told us at her Essex home,
hi Tom, hello.
The process was very much the punishment. Could you talk me through what happened back on Remembrance Sunday, 2024?
It was Remembrance Sunday. I just got out of the shower, had all my dark clothes laid out. Actually had my my junk shop fine poppy brooch, so that was ready to go. The centre of the town where I live is shut off because there's a big parade, and I just thought, oh, it's the police. They'll be wanting us to move a car or something. It took a couple of seconds to realise there's been a complaint related to a tweet. So I said, what was the tweet? We're not allowed to tell you that, madam. And then I said, all right, who's my accuser? They said, we're not allowed to tell you that either. People walked past our door to go to the church. People were staring. I think I was crying because I was taking my glasses off. So I was obviously in shock. Because it was Remembrance Sunday, I just did suddenly get really annoyed. I said, do you know what it is we're commemorating today? I said, there are hundreds of thousands of young men, the age you are now, both of you, who sacrificed their lives so that British people wouldn't live under tyranny. And what do you think they would think of you turning up to the house of a journalist on Remembrance Sunday? I think there was a lot of staring at their iPads and their shoes. They also then said, you could come for a voluntary interview to the police station. There's nothing voluntary about that interview. If you don't go, or if you don't volunteer to go, they can come back and arrest you. Now, knowing about many other cases, I should consider myself pretty lucky. If they had come into the house, they would have immediately seen the very Brexity bookshelf. So I would have been.
I've had a peek myself there.
Very incriminating. Very, very worrying.
Julian Fawkes, he's a former special constable, and he was detained at his home by 6 officers, a little bit concerned about the, quote, very Brexity things that they had found in his home, including copies of The Spectator magazine and books by Douglas Murray.
You said there that you were one of the lucky ones because you weren't arrested, which of course is true, but at the same time, it's not nothing.
The two parts of your brain are doing the same thing simultaneously, because one part's saying, this is ridiculous. What have I done to justify or to merit this kind of investigation? But then the other half is slightly panicking and thinking, I'm under police investigation. That's your last thought before you go to sleep, and it's your first thought when you wake up. We couldn't find out what my offensive tweet was, but Essex Police, they appear allegedly to have leaked it to The Guardian. So we think it was a tweet dating from after the October the 7th Hamas massacres in Israel. With a little group of British friends of Israel, we had been at the Winston Churchill statue. We invited the police to join us for a selfie. They declined, and then I saw this photo of what looked like the pro-Pal marchers posing with the Metropolitan Police. And I just said, they don't want to pose with British Jews and their friends, but happy to snuggle up to the Jew haters. Somebody alerted me that the photograph that had been retweeted was not the Metropolitan Police. I believe it was Greater Manchester Police with another group, an Islamist group.
The tweet itself, it was deleted relatively shortly afterwards. And Essex police, when they do get a hold of your case, really seem to grab onto it with both hands. There was a report, I believe, in your own newspaper of them setting up one of these gold group commands, which is usually reserved for responding to some kind of terrorist incident.
You've been in my house, you've seen the piles of Semtex, the AK-47s against the back.
I didn't want to mention it, so I'm glad.
Absolutely ludicrous. It's quite scary that they've done this.
The line from the police is that the CPS informed them that there was insufficient evidence to proceed with any prosecution. Talk me through your reaction to that, because it must be a tremendous relief, but also a bit bittersweet.
I was almost crying, and I was elated, but also crying with relief. I just found out I was about to go and give a speech. I now appear to be a non-crime, non-hate, non-criminal. It's a great moment to go out on that stage and to punch the air and to say, yes, thank goodness. But that still doesn't take away, does it, from the fact of what is happening in our society when that sort of overreaction can become the norm. There was a police report that was commissioned by Essex Police, which said that the two officers had behaved towards Mrs. Pearson in an exemplary manner. I don't care if they bought me a box of fucking chocolates. They were not supposed to be there, right? The Telegraph spoke to many leading KCs, a couple of judges, and they said the tweet, if it was the tweet we think it was, didn't come anywhere near the threshold for a criminal investigation.
Essex Police said it would be inappropriate to comment on Pearson's case while legal proceedings remain active. This refers to Pearson's ongoing legal action against the force. We then moved on to the imprisonment of Lucy Connolly, which has become the iconic speech crime case following the horrific Southport riots. On the 29th of July, 2024, 17-year-old Axel Rudakabana walked into a Taylor Swift-themed dance class in Southport with a knife.
His arm over there, mate.
He stabbed 3 young girls to death and injured 10 others.
How many more children?
Amid swirling online misinformation that the killer was a Muslim asylum seeker, Southport sparked the worst anti-migrant riots Britain has seen in modern times. It's also sparked a crackdown on speech, on those accused of spreading hate or encouraging violence online amid the carnage. One of them was Lucy Connolly, childminder from Northampton, who was eventually sentenced to 31 months in prison for inciting racial hatred. She's now been released, having served a third of her sentence. Lucy Connolly, as many people will know, in the wake of Southport, posts a tweet. The tweet was, even in your own words, as you've described it in your pieces, it was hateful, it was horrible, it was deeply offensive.
Mass deportation now. Set fire to all the hotels, full of the bastards, for all I care.
What a lot of people are criticising, though, is the sentence that she was given, 31 months in prison, which is even in excess of some people who actually took part in riots.
In 2011, Lucy lost a child to huge medical negligence caused by the NHS. She's a childminder. She's got 6 or 7 little children. I've seen pictures of them, Tom. They're Nigerian child, Bangladeshi child, Somalian child, some Muslim, some Christian. Lucy, absolutely adored by these families and the children.
An ongoing incident involving a number of...
So she hears about the massacre,
multiple stabbings.
Taps into her absolute dread of children being injured or killed. She sits down at the end of that day, types out this furious tweet, burn them all down, you know. They remanded her. They sent her straight to Peterborough jail. And the lawyer said, you'll be out by Christmas if you plead guilty. If she'd pleaded not guilty, I'm convinced she wouldn't have served any time in jail.
We paid for her appeal. It was unsuccessful, unfortunately.
Keir Starmer appeared on the television, you know, Mr. Tough Guy. There are going to be substantial punishments for these people.
I guarantee you will regret taking part in this disorder, whether directly or those whipping up this action online.
The authorities just blamed a few bad actors on social media as though that was the kind of principal cause of the disorder.
It was chilling to see government social media accounts foghorning the words, think before you post. Do you think that we should be much more concerned about free speech under a Keir Starmer government than his predecessors?
Yes, I do.
How did we end up in a situation where the police are so much more concerned with speech, even admittedly deeply unpleasant speech, rather than the kinds of violent crime that we all agree they should be focusing on.
If you wanted to be cynical, it's a lot easier to sit with your mug of tea and your pack of hobnobs, isn't it, and scroll through Twitter looking for offence than to go and confront some really nasty drug dealers. Essex Police doesn't really do very well solving what most members of the public would think of as crimes, burglaries, thefts, attacks on the person. And I think looking forward that on Remembrance Sunday, I won't forget that in our allegedly free country, police officers felt they could come to my home.